This is John. I'm over here with Lewis with Atomos, talking about their new product and his night out last night. Oh yeah, no, this is real. It's happening. No, we don't cut around here, dude. We don't have money for an editor. It's one take. We got to nail this. All right. This is John. I'm here at the Photo Plus show. I'm with Lewis with Atomos, who is talking about their new product, which is the Assassin. This product, primarily I want to talk about how we can use it as a hack to turn your old camera into a new camera, or to turn one of these new cameras into a better camera. And Lewis was one of the primary architects, if not the architect, of the C100 hack to use this external recorder to basically turn your C100 into a C300, which saves you $8 grand.
Yeah, well, you're bypassing the internal compression, so you're going from a 50-to-1 compression with 420, color chroma subsampling to 422, ProRes 6-to-1 compression, full iframe. So you were using the internals that Canon put in there, same sensor on the C1 and the C300, bypassing that and getting an even better resolution than what the C300 was providing you with. That was a 50 meg codec, but we were doing at 220 megabits per second, so loads more information there for you to play with in post-production.
Tell us about the FS700, because you have sort of a clever little hack for the FS700.
Well, the FS700 is an awesome camera, and it's the same sensor inside of the FS700 as is in the FS7, as is in the new FS5, as is in the Sony F5. So that's a great imager, but it was bound and limited to HD. So that camera, although people don't like its ergonomics, the actual imager in it is pretty smart. So with our 6.4 update for Shogun, we allowed you, just with the use of an SDI cable, to come out the back of that camera and straight into us, and you can record either S-Log2 or S-Log3, which isn't even available on the camera, from a RAW to ProRes conversion. So you're able to get from what has been a camera that's now, I think it's about $5,000, they've reduced the price on it. You can get 4K DCI up to 30p, so you've got a real cinematic camera there for not a lot of money. And you can add a Shogun onto the back for $2,000, no charge for the RAW upgrade, and you got a machine there that's capable of doing so much. And E-mount is the shallowest flange back of all mounts, so you can actually adapt that mount to any lens in existence. You can go E-mount to M39, M42, so old glass, where the aperture is real and everything is not fly-by-wire. So you can pick up some old Konica Minolta, some old Pentax, some old anamorphics, and to be honest, with some of the anamorphics out there and the D-Squeeze, we've been producing some great stuff. You should check out SLR Magic as well for some affordable anamorphic lenses. They've got some micro 4/3 ones which are just like three grand for an anamorphic, and when used on a GH4, that's an awesome anamorphic machine. So it's about using technology that's available and maximizing it. And we were saying ninja your camera, assassinate the limitations, so you're unleashing what the raw technology is capable of externally from the camera. So if you are looking for a 4K cinema camera, FS700 is a little sneaky way of getting a real 4K DCI recording machine for less than the price of an FS7, because with the FS7 to get the RAW out, you need the extension back. It's another $3,000. You're getting over $10,000. Whereas with the FS700 and a Shogun, for pretty much about $6-7 grand, you're gonna get a really nice unit there.
Agreed. I think that's an amazing hack. I might even do it myself. Let's go into what it looks like to actually use this product. We don't have an FS700 here. We're running this off a DSLR, but let's see what's new with the Assassin.
Okay, so the Assassin is a slightly lighter weight unit compared to the Shogun, because it doesn't have the XLR inputs and it doesn't have the SDI and timecode, Genlock and LTC that you get from the SDI BNC inputs on that. But we can start with the input menu here. You can see we're receiving 4K UHD, 2398, and you can have the trigger set on here. So it's not like if I can use the camera, I can press go and record on there, and that will trigger this camera. You can see from around here that I'm not having to fiddle around with multiple objects. Now, 3D Lutz. So this is where if I needed to do a quick and dirty grade, and I'd already been and done a sample shoot and then done a little grade in Resolve or speed grade or film, or if I was using a a film stock look from someone like Film Convert and I exported that and bring that in here, I can bake that into the image. You know, maybe I don't have time to go back and do a grade and I just need to do something quick turnaround. But otherwise it's going to be baked in. And pre-roll, as I said, that allows you to be recording the last 8 seconds for HD or the last 2 to 3 seconds for 4K. So it means you'll never miss a shot. If you're doing sports, wildlife or some action and you hadn't pressed record, it's all been caching it in there.
You know, let me pause you right there. I really think that for really fast workflow, people who have really tight turnarounds, this LUT feature where you could just bake it in, you know, something like this, for example, this interview does not need to be graded.
No.
I would bake this LUT in, it would come out of the card just looking good.
Just get some more saturation, some contrast. You know, if I just put this Fuji on here, you know, you can see instantly we're getting more contrast, more punch without having to do anything. I get a 50-50 LUT split so I can see what it is. I can have infinite amount of LUTs on the drive, so I've got different LUTs on here for different cameras that I can preview on here, and I can load 8 up into the camera that are permanently in there. I don't need to have them on my drive all the time. Yeah, and I can easily swap them out. But also on the record side of things, you know, video time-lapse. Time-lapse is pretty awesome thing to do, but it normally puts quite a lot of impact on your camera, or you need to be there and babysit it. Whereas in here, video time-lapse, we're capturing those frames and recording each individual frame in a ProRes compression, so better than JPEG, and we're creating one video file. But I can set up to 10 different sequences, so I can have a different pace. I can have really fast coverage and then slow it down. I can even set a pause for 2 hours and then come back. I can ramp up that transition between them, or I could have motion blur. And what that does is it takes up to 64 frames and combines them into one, so I've got like a slow shutter exposure in my time-lapse. And then I can also schedule it as well. So say I want to do a sunrise or a sunset, as long as I've got the time set correctly within here, I can start this when the sun's coming. I can still be in bed. As long as it's got power, I can be creating a great piece of footage.
And now that motion blur happens right inside
the unit. There's no post to do on the time-lapse. It just comes out as one video file at the end. So when you're creating the image, it's going to compile it all into one video file. So I'll just give this a quick run back on here, and you'll be able to see some of the time-lapse capabilities. You know, we've got different pace with on here. We've got a motion blur within the lights. You know, this could normally take you quite a bit of time to work on in post to be able to get something like this. But this was just shot with an A7S and a Ninja Assassin.
So one of the big issues with motion blur is when you're flying this on a drone. And so I don't know if you have an answer for this yet, but if there's a way to incorporate this into a drone.
So yeah, on some of the larger drones, so like the from DJI, the S900 and S1000, those bigger drones, and we're working with quite a few companies. So there's a company out of Australia called XM2. You know, NAB, we had one of their drones, it's 3 meters wide, and they've got 2 cameras on there. They had an Alexa Mini and a Red, and they're recording all of those to a Shogun. And then they also had a Shogun on the controller where they had a wireless link, and they were using that to actually steer and control the drone from, so they could see the camera angles. So pretty flexible. You know, and in terms of drone work, we've also got the Ninja Star, which is just our pocket-size ProRes recorder. So that's nice and light and can go. You know, there's no screen to add weight or get damaged if you were to crash your drone.
How much actually is the Ninja Star?
The Ninja Star, that's only $295. You know, so if you really want to start getting into you know, recording better quality from your camera, Ninja Star, $295. We also at $295 have the Ninja 2. Now that's gives you a reference quality monitor, so it's only 800 by 480, but you can see what's recording. But one of the big news is when we released the Assassin, we also dropped the price of the Ninja Blade. The Ninja Blade was $995 at the start of September. It's now $495. So for all those guys out there with 5D Mark III or a camera like a D800, where they're looking to sweat it and get a little bit more work out of it, they're moving from photo to video, $495. Rude not to really buy that for your camera. It's a little treat.
Terribly rude. You got to buy it. We might actually pick one up for our 5D actually.
5D, you know, you got to think about what you're going to get out of that. 5D already looks great, but you're already compressing that down. You're going to get infinitely better quality video and there's a color correction in there as well for 5D. So the output on there, you know, it has we've tuned a little color correction on the input from the 5D.
Okay, well, Lewis, thank you so much. Appreciate you kind of walking us through this. I really like that FS700 hack. I think a lot of people are going to take advantage.
I think a lot of people overlook that, thinking I need a newer, greater camera. So even check out eBay, check out the second-hand market, because there's a lot of people upgrading from that camera. As long as it's got the 4K firmware on it, which if you buy it new, it has that on. It was a paid upgrade for the original FS700, but if it's got that on it, just add a Shogun and you're good to go.
Excellent. Thanks a lot, Lewis.
Hey, no problem.
Take care. Have a good show.